Rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor, 500 help. Now is the time to get ready for winter weather. I mean, we're into September, right? And it's nice today, but the winter weather is on the way. So call Taylor for their Plumbing Safety Essentials Plus plan and save $100 on a Bradford white water heater. Get free diagnostic fees and no overtime charges on emergency repairs with an additional 15% discount. You know, Taylor 500 Help has been around since 1947 with heating and plumbing. They do it all. Duct cleaning, air conditioning, home energy, comprehensive maintenance plans called Taylor 500 Help. Precision Lawn and Garden. They are up there in Webster, 195 North Avenue, open weekdays 8 to 5, Saturday 9 to noon. You want the best lawn around? Why wouldn't you call Kimberly and Justin at Precision Lawn Care? They have everything you need to make your lawn look great. They've got lawnmowers, big and small, chainsaws, snow blowers, blowers, new models, on sale models, Cub Cadet, Still, Ferris, Toro, everything you need. Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster. You want to get your driveway done before winter sets in. Express Sealers makes your curb appeal look nice. You don't want one of those driveways that's crumbling, right? Looks kind of in the neighborhood. You don't want to be that person. You don't be that neighbor. So call the guys, Brian at Express Sealers, not a fly-by-night company, not one of those door knockers. They will protect your investment with power trimmed edges. They use thick, professional, hand-applied, commercial-grade seal coat. They do a great job. So call 645-2010, 645-2010. You want to make sure you support our advertisers because they support the We the People Podcast Network.
Do we have a baby?
Baby.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in 79 degrees sunny Irondequoit, New York. Sit down and grab a cold glass of your favorite beverage because you never know what's coming out of their mouths. Here's Kimberly and Chad.
And just Tom on the We the People Podcast Network. Hey, it's Wednesday. Glad you guys are joining us on the Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People Podcast Network. We are glad you are here. Chad Hummel is here. Just Tom, who is a granddad. Ooh, baby. We got some baby.
I just broke my TV.
You broke your TV?
I broke my camera.
How'd you break? No, your camera's working fine. Austin is here with us from the We the People Podcast Network. Austin,
I think it was your face, Chad.
He is. Oh, there's Austin.
Hello.
Very nice. Hi, Austin.
I'm hiding
Good to
behind
see you.
my computer.
As you do.
I'm not allowed to make eye contact with Kimberly. I found out.
He was looking at me funny, and I'm like, what are you looking at me for? What did I do? I don't know. What I did.
He said because you were talking. I was trying to make eye contact.
I was talking. I was like, why are you looking at me weird?
I'm sorry. I don't usually look at people, I guess.
Yeah, quit looking at me.
He got smacked up. He got smacked right down.
I got to be one of those Hollywood actresses. Don't make eye contact. Don't look at me as I'm getting ready for my debut. We have a baby. Can we see the picture of
We have a baby.
Baby Sophia.
Sophia.
Oh, look at the baby.
Guess what Sophia's middle name is?
What is
The
Sophia's
big
middle
reveal.
name?
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure.
Why?
Not sure where the name comes from. It's not
Okay.
a family name.
Okay.
But her official name is Sophia Ray Santiago.
What's up with
Sophia
that?
Ray Santiago.
It's either named after you, Kimberly,
Of course it
or
is.
they're millennials. Maybe it's Star Wars.
She doesn't even look like a newborn. Look how beautiful she
doesn't
is.
even
She
look like
looks like she's
Kimberly.
in a box at Toys R Us.
She
Looks
does,
like a
right?
doll.
How pretty is she?
Oh, she's adorable.
Congratulations.
I don't know
Grandpa.
how that
That's
happened.
amazing.
She doesn't look like any of us.
Yeah, she does. She looks like you.
The
She-
running joke in our family with fathers
Yeah.
is, boy, you got a good looking kid. Too bad it doesn't look like you.
That's a beautiful baby girl. How much did she weigh?
8 pounds, 12 ounces,
She's a big girl.
Yeah.
21 inches.
Got a big girl.
She's ready for the NBA,
And she's healthy.
the WNBA.
That's awesome.
We grow them big out in Chile.
Apparently you do.
Gates.
So congratulations. When does Mama and baby Sophia come home from the hospital?
I'm guessing tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Love you, Danielle
So she's healthy. Congratulations to Danielle
and Donovan.
and Daddy and baby Sophia and the entire Just Tom family.
Yes. Doesn't it look like a box? You know, like that. Wow. I mean, it
don't
looks
know.
like a doll in a wrapped up toy box
She's
with a little
beautiful.
emblem on it.
She is beautiful. So
I'm so
Yeah.
old. I remember when Danielle was born.
Right.
The mom.
let's see.
I was at the hospital the day the mom was born.
You were?
Yeah, when Danielle was born.
That's
I
pretty
drove-
amazing.
I drove Tom's car to the hospital for him.
You know what I love? I love on Facebook seeing all the pictures of the kiddos going off to school. I love the kindergarten kiddos
Yeah.
going off to school. I love the
Nah,
pictures from
That's stupid.
kindergarten to senior year. I love all those pictures.
I hate it.
Yeah, that cost me about 15 likes
I
every
hate
year.
it. Look at everyone saying congratulations. And here's the thing. So Just Tom, before we start Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People Podcast Network, he was on the phone with his wife, and his wife said, "Did you call your father?" And he's like, "No, you call him. I don't have time." And I looked at Tom and I'm like, "You have 5 minutes. Get on the phone with your father right now."
He didn't answer.
So he calls back his wife, Lori, and he goes, "Lori, Kimberly just said I have 5 minutes. I'll call him." I'm like,
That was great. True story.
I can't. True story.
I do what I'm told.
And I'm like, yes. I'm like, you have 5 minutes. What do you mean? Call your father. Do not let him find out that he's a great granddad on the show.
I'll call you later, Pops.
On the show. Social media is kind of a wicked thing. And sometimes it's like wildfire. And all of a sudden, before you've even told the people that need to be
Exactly.
told, it's already told because social media gets a hold of it. It can be a good thing or it can be a not so good
Well,
thing
this-
with feelings hurt. So
This
just
wouldn't have happened.
remember,
This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have a show at 4:00 today.
4:00, we have a baby.
We have a baby.
So Just Tom's dad, sorry, but I told him to call you. He did. I witnessed it. He called you twice and you didn't pick up.
So my take,
And
of
then,
course,
and then Tom said, he's an old guy. That's what old people do. They don't pick
Oh.
up the phone.
He doesn't answer the phone all the time. That's all right, Dad. Love you, Dad. I'll
So-
call you. I'll call you after the
so
show.
my take was Tom was going to get at least one night on the couch for not
Yeah.
for demanding that Lori call, right?
Yeah. I'm like, how does that even work? I would never let my husband get away with that.
But then once Lori,
Never.
then once Lori found out he was going to listen to you and
Yeah.
not her, now
Now-
I'm going for 3 days on the
Now,
couch.
now
At
he's really in
A
trouble.
box of diapers. He's going to have to do the first box of diaper
It
changes.
is what it is.
And 3 nights on the couch.
Who's going to keep you guys in line? You got to
It is
come
what
on
it
now.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got stogies though, right?
We got Stogies.
Oh wait, Roger wants to know who won the baby draft.
Oh, who won the baby draft?
My niece Casey.
Okay. Won the baby draft.
$225.
Get
Congratulations,
out.
Casey.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
50-50.
That's a lot of money at stake.
Report him to the IRS.
Exactly. You'll be audited. You know, the next time we talk is like, Tom, I got audited by the IRS. All right. So we have a lot of stuff going on. First off, we want to thank all of our sponsors, Fantuzzo's Acupuncture, Taylor Heating and Plumbing. You heard all their commercials before we got started here on the Kimberly's Revolution show on the We the People Podcast Network. We also want to thank Express Sealers and Precision Lawn and Garden. I do want to say that we are having a big party September 24th right here at 530 Titus Avenue. It is in celebration of our 1-year podcast. As you all know, I was fired last June 2020 for saying some things that people deemed were inappropriate. I did not use the inappropriate word. I was simply repeating something that a woman that was getting beaten by a 2x4 had said. It doesn't matter. The cancel culture is swift and brutal, and I was canceled. So I got my real estate license. I was hired by you guys.
Well, hold
Revere
on.
Realty.
You skipped a step.
What did I skip?
You were fired again.
It doesn't matter. doesn't matter who I was fired by or what company they work for.
By Ski Tracks.
We've been down that road.
You were fired by that company by the name of Ski Tracks.
Yeah. So I was fired by that other company, and then Revere hired me, and then we were all sitting around going, hey, why don't we do a podcast? And we did. And the first podcast was a year ago, September 24th. So here at 530 Titus Road in Irondequoit on September 24th, it's a Friday. We invite everyone, food and drinks starting at 5 o'clock. And it's going to be a big party. Austin is even going to be here behind his
coming,
computer, like he always is. He
Oh,
has
yeah.
to. We've got a 4 o'clock podcast. We're doing doing a celebratory podcast, an extra podcast.
And it's Tom's birthday.
It's my birthday.
And it's your birthday.
So bring a present.
Exactly.
I'll be 74.
74.
You don't look a day over 70.
You don't look a day over 80. So anyway, we want everyone to plan to come out here. We want everyone to come out and show up. If you can only show up for 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine.
Come say hi.
You just say hi as you swing by wherever it is that you're going on a Friday evening at 5 o'clock. We're here until 8 o'clock. The party is going to go till 8 o'clock on Friday night that night.
Who's kicking me out at 8?
Yeah, isn't it Titus Avenue? Yeah,
Yes.
530 Titus Avenue.
Yeah, you said Titus Road or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Road, highway.
Get a wiener and take 35 seconds off your life.
What was who
35
pointed that
minutes.
out? What can we go back down? Who
Oh,
pointed
they're in
that?
trouble. You're not allowed to come to the party.
Jenny, you got to be that person. Hey, Kimberly,
it's Titus Avenue.
Jenny Petrillo's got to be that person. No, I'm teasing.
We were all
I
thinking.
love
We
you.
were all thinking it, Jenny.
Austin, I
It's
broke
just-
my
we
TV.
didn't have the
Right.
guts to tell her.
Oh, okay.
I can't get a break. All right. So I have to tell you that the cognitive decline is in
Uh-oh.
full swing.
What I do now?
Not with us, but with the person that's sitting in the Oval Office that we call President of the United States of America. We are in a massive cognitive decline. This guy, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening with President Biden.
It's undisputable at this
But
point.
so they're talking about all of the weather that's happening, with Hurricane Ida, and then Hurricane Ida did a thing that hurricanes do. Once they make landfall, then they kind of come, inland, and they make their way across the country and exit on whichever, coast, or they just kind of die out before they ever make land. So President Biden is talking about how Hurricane Ida made its way through, the center of the country and then over to the East Coast. And he's talking about tornadoes, only they're not called tornadoes anymore. He goes, well, the tornado, they're not called that anymore. Can we hear the audio from Joe Biden?
It looks like a tornado. They don't call them that anymore. That hit the crops and wetlands in the middle of the country.
Wetlands?
In Iowa.
Wetlands in Iowa.
I mean, it's just across the board.
Mm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
as I said, we're in this together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saturday Night Effing Live could not put on a better skit. Honest to God.
Yeah.
Could Saturday Night
Chase
Live
could do a better job at that.
Tornadoes.
I didn't catch the part about the wetlands in Iowa.
Wetlands.
There's a lot of wetlands in Iowa.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
Isn't it basically a desert?
I am very familiar with Iowa. I dated a couple of guys who lived in Iowa.
Shocker.
Here we go.
I went to school at Northwest Missouri State University in Maryville, Missouri, which is 7 miles from the border of Iowa. And I have never in my entire life seen any kind of wetlands in Iowa.
You never saw any wetlands in Iowa?
Kimberly,
They don't freaking exist.
did you date both
Iowa.
of these Iowans at the same time?
I might have. I will not disclose that. But those spinny things, those spinning things that we don't call tornadoes, they kind of, there's cows and there's Helen Hunt, and all of a sudden you land
It's a twister.
You land in Oz and the house lands on the witch, and oh my God, it's chaos. That thing it's called a tornado.
Can we watch that again?
What's he talking about?
Auntie M.
Looks like a tornado. They
He's
don't
wiping
call
the
them that
drool off
anymore.
his mouth.
That hit the crops and wetlands in the middle of the country and
Okay.
Iowa. And
Okay.
What the hell?
Okay. That's significant, guys.
That's sick.
It is.
What does Putin think when he watches this?
Does
Does Putin have a podcast?
I'm thinking that China, which by the way, China is set to take over Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. That's not a worry, though. It's not a problem. No, nothing to see here.
There's wetlands.
Just move on.
Kabul,
There's wetlands at the airport in Afghanistan.
No issue
at
for
the
India.
at the Kabul airport.
No issue for India or any of those countries in that region.
China moving in to take over the Bagram Air Force Base that we left, stocked with weapons and all kinds of guns and helicopters and everything that you could possibly use.
They like to steal our technology,
but
so that's probably what they're doing.
But that is where we are, guys. That is where, and then you have Pelosi talking about Mother Nature being angry. Here's thousands and thousands of years, weather, earthquakes, hurricanes, cyclones, wildfires. That big thing called the Ice Age.
I was going to say, the ice has been melting for 2 million years now.
That thing where the Ice Age happened and then continents were formed. And when the ice started melting, everything kind of, separated. You remember back when we had weather issues then, Nancy? Well, this is just a way to con the American people out of their hard-earned money.
You know where the Great Lakes came from?
From the Ice Age.
Exactly.
You're right. From the Ice Age. Can we hear Ms. Pelosi, by the way?
From climate change.
Wasn't this the year without a Santa Claus?
On another note, as we see the wildfires in the West, we see them at home. The smoke, it's so devastating. As you see the floods of Ida, the storms of Ida in the South and in the Northeast, Mother Nature is not happy with us in terms of how we recognize what challenges face us. Climate crisis is real. Human behavior has an impact on it.
We want your money.
Public policy proposals that I hope would be bipartisan.
Policy proposals.
However, the fossil fuel industry weighs in very
that
heavily.
we're going to charge you for.
Some of people on the other side of the
taxpayer
aisle.
money.
You would think they would have taken the initiative on this.
Okay.
Knowing what they do about energy.
Here's the problem.
Is Mother Nature a Democrat?
Mother Nature is angry. Let me clue Ms. Pelosi in on something. Mother Nature has always been angry.
Right.
I think from the first time I ever saw that commercial, Mother Nature. No, wasn't it a butter commercial?
Oh yeah.
Right. You don't remember it. You're too young.
I do. I remember.
But I remember
That's right, Tom 74.
the Mother Nature commercial with the "You can't fool Mother Nature," right? It's parquet. But anyway, yeah,
it's butter.
Weather has been around since the beginning of time, and weather and Mother Nature have always been a bitch. She's always been a bitch.
The most
She's
deadly,
gonna be a bitch. It's eternity. It's
the most deadly hurricane that's on record. I mean, and of course, keep in mind that modern weather statistics have only been around for
100 years.
I was going to say a little over 100 years.
100 years.
The most deadly hurricane that the United States has ever seen happened way back in 1930. Long before the things existed that this clown Nancy Pelosi claims is the reason why the hurricanes are happening, right? Of course, she's going to blame fossil fuels, automobiles, cow farts. That shit didn't exist in 1930 when the most deadly hurricane ripped through the nation. So, when the wetlands were created in Idaho in the central part of the United States, and I mean, what the fuck?
I know exactly.
Damn, my wife told me I couldn't swear anymore. She wants the kids to be able to watch the podcast. Sorry.
The difference
next week. We'll have to wait till next week.
The difference between her and Joe Biden, though, is she knows what she's talking about.
Does she though?
Does she?
She knows what she's talking about.
She knows what she's talking about because she is not,
That's directed. That's
cognitively
Joe
on
doesn't
the
have a clue what he's saying.
He doesn't. I think his mind is seriously gone. And I say this, I'm afraid for the country because of it.
Oh, shit.
I'm afraid for the country because Joe Biden is not running the country. Other people. He's just a puppet. He's not making decisions. He's incapable of making decisions. And you have Nancy Pelosi on the one hand that wants to take away all of your money for weather that's been happening for years. And by the way, if you move into an area like, I don't know, next to an ocean, you're going to be at risk for having everything you own destroyed because of a hurricane and or flooding. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. If you buy a house in Greece, right up on Lake Ontario,
you know what you're getting into.
It is inevitable that at some point in time in history, when you live in this house in Greece on the lakefront or in Webster on the lakefront or wherever it is, Kendall on the lakefront, that there's a possibility that living on a lake or any portion of water, you're going to have water issues.
How about the fault lines that haven't erupted in a couple hundred years?
If you live in San Francisco, at some point in time, Mother Nature is going to say, yeah, it feels like a good time for a 10.0 on the Richter scale or whatever they call it. You know, they don't call it the Richter scale anymore. I can be like Biden and say, you know, they call them things.
They don't?
They don't? I don't know. I don't think they do.
I know. Was Richter a slaveholder? Richter owned slaves.
I have no idea. They took down
Robert E. Lee today.
They took down the statue of General Robert E. Lee in Richmond, Virginia today.
Another white guy bites the dust.
Yeah, he lost.
We saw that statue.
Should you get a statue if you're a loser?
Yeah.
I mean, I just asked that question.
That was a cool statue, though.
Should you get a statue if you lose?
Sure.
Like he get a ribbon. So again, canceling out history. Here's a general. They lost the war, but they put a statue up in his honor. I don't think people who lost should get a statue, but that's just me.
I'm I know a lot of history. I don't know this history though. Maybe one of our listeners does, but I mean, he was an American general. Did he end up joining the Continental Army at any point? I mean, did he become an American general
before that?
Before and after, perhaps.
Yeah, he was one of the commanding generals before the war started.
Yeah, and after.
But he was a Southerner, so he chose sides.
Right, exactly. So
it happens. Sometimes you go to the Capitol on January 6th.
So again, canceling out history. We don't need to see a statue of General Robert E. Lee. We don't need to know the history of the Civil War, how it started, what happened in the middle, and how it ended. Let's just take down all the statues and wipe everything clean and have everything very, very pretty. And we don't want anyone to be offended. So let's just not talk about it and pretend that the Civil War never happened. We can just march forward from here, never knowing how we got here. Isn't that the best thing? So let's just get rid of all the statues. Again, I'm not in favor of giving a loser a statue, but it's been there for 130 years, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Here's the other thing. I was there 2 years ago when we traveled to
Richmond's a great town.
It's an awesome town.
Yeah.
It's the capital of Virginia.
Mhm.
They have an entire street. I wish I could remember the name of it off the top of my head, but let's just call it Main Street in Richmond. And it extends several blocks. It probably extends about a mile.
Is it called Racist Street?
Probably. It might as well be.
Sure.
And at every intersection, they have these huge concrete statues similar to the one that they took down today.
Right.
And it's of some American war general, whether it be from the Confederate Army, the Continental Army.
They have them in Charleston too.
Or the American Army. And it's essentially a museum of history.
Right.
It's not
you don't
as
want to know history. Don't want to know it.
It's not as if they're down there parading around the Dixieland. It's not that they're parading around the fact that these are Southern generals that were, that chose the side of the South. That's not what's going on. It's all being taken out of context. This is history on display in a museum like setting.
Right.
And they're cherry picking and pulling pieces of it apart is what they're doing.
Don't need to know
Divide
about
and
it.
conquer.
That doesn't matter anymore, Chad.
Yeah.
No one needs to know about it. So let's just take down the statues and forget about history. Someone said he went to West Point. I think Ulysses S. Grant went to West Point as well. He was the winner. General Robert E. Lee was not.
I wonder what their side bet was.
Nice.
Right?
They had dinner on it.
I think it was
Ulysses
Maryland and Pennsylvania.
Grant.
You get Maryland, we get Pennsylvania.
It wasn't dinner at Proyetti's.
Oh, you know what else I noticed? Sorry, I'm going to get into the weeds here a little bit.
Okay, get into the weeds. Oh boy, here we go.
This is something else I
Should I
noticed.
go get a beer?
In our travels back and forth to Myrtle Beach every year. It used to be that on Route 15 near Gettysburg, well, north of Gettysburg, I suppose. Actually, I'm sorry, south of Gettysburg, at the Maryland-Pennsylvania line, there was a sign.
Do they have a Sheets right there? They have a Sheets right there.
Yes, of course. They had the Mason-Dixon, they had a sign, Mason-Dixon line. I don't
ever remember seeing that.
Historically, they were letting you know.
Right.
And it was obviously.
That you are now crossing the Mason-Dixon line.
It was for historical purposes, right? And it was.
To let you know that you were no longer in the state of New York.
And yeah, right. And I used it for historical purposes. Over the years, I explained to my kids, look, we're crossing the Mason-Dixon line. And of course, they're like, what the hell's that, Dad?
Well, let's
but
have
I
a conversation.
explained to them what it was.
Yes.
I didn't put on my white hood and tell them, that we're from the north and or that we're from the south and we're slaveholders. It's a historical thing.
You have a white hood?
That was a joke.
Stryker says, I think they graduated in the same class from West Point. I think you might be right. on Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee. Doesn't matter. The statue is gone.
So history has to be removed.
Yes,
You're not
rule.
allowed to know where the Mason-Dixon
Statue
line
gone.
is.
Statue came down this morning before 8 a.m. in Richmond, Virginia.
It's been 150 years.
General Lee's just having a bad week.
Yeah.
Remember last week?
Damn it.
General Lee got a
Look at
treat.
that.
Way to go, Austin.
Freaking Mother Nature. And of course,
See? Nancy Pelosi's right.
yes.
Mother Nature is angry at the racists in the South.
Yeah.
Mother Nature got the General Lee.
Uh-huh. See, that's what happens.
Son of a gun.
That's exactly what happens. Thank you.
As I sit in front of the
Austin.
Betsy Ross flag behind me. I love it.
Who
Shouldn't-
doesn't love that?
Shouldn't the real General Lee be like inside with a car cover on it? It's outside under a tree.
I think there were 7 or 8 of them, if I remember.
We covered this last week.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't
exactly.
here.
All right, so I want to show the picture. There was a tweet sent out today, and you've probably all seen the pictures. The State Department, so we left Americans behind in Afghanistan. I don't give a rat's
No,
ass.
you're lying. That never happened.
Well, that's what they're saying. Who is it? Blinken? I don't know what his name is. You know, the
Isn't he
guy.
a reindeer?
Basically says we didn't leave any Americans behind, and there are people that have chartered planes to go over to Afghanistan to get the Americans we left behind. They were on these charter jets on the tarmac at the Kabul airport, and guess what? State Department says we're not. No, I don't know where you think you're going.
Nope, they shut him down.
But the State Department said it's not formally approving the departure of chartered planes from Afghanistan carrying Americans and allies, complicating the efforts from the private citizens who said, fuck you, we're going back to get the Americans.
Earmuffs.
Right. Oh, sorry, earmuffs. Yeah. So there are the planes on the tarmac. Leaked emails prove that the State Department did block those evacuation flights. The email says, we will not provide an approval, but we will provide a no objection to a destination country government via the U.S. embassy in that country, but do not think that you're going to land on American soil. And by the way, none of the countries are saying yes, that the charter planes may land there. And on the flip side, you have Blinken saying, yeah, but the TSA, the Afghans, the Taliban are now acting at Kabul airport as the TSA. But don't be worried about that. Don't be concerned about the Taliban acting as if the TSA.
So does that mean they're checking grandma to see if she has a bomb in her shoes?
What happened is they made all these people get off these 6 planes, go back into the airport where the Taliban stood, ready and waiting with weapons. And now they have to wait. The airplanes are still sitting on the tarmac, and the American citizens and those Afghans that were left behind that helped the American military or other European military are just SOL. They're up a creek. This guy, Eric Montalvo, is a former U.S. Marine. He has organized a series of evacuation flights. A State Department official acknowledged that any flights taking Afghan refugees to Europe or the Middle East may require some indication that the U.S. approved the charter flight and the U.S. does not approve the charter flight. So there they sit. So there they are. The email went on to state that you must find another destination country. It will not be the United States. So we're telling American citizens, we are not going to get you out of Afghanistan. And if you do happen to get out of Afghanistan, you can't come to the United States on one of those charter planes. And just let me show you a picture of a week and a half ago of a flight full of Afghans that, by the way, were vetted on the backside, meaning we did not vet these men. You don't see any women or children in there. We did not vet these people up front. We vetted them on the backside once they got to wherever it was they were going.
That makes sense.
That's not concerning at all, is it?
Yeah, but Americans with passports. Nope, sorry.
But Americans with passports, American citizens, or people that have a green card that are married to Americans, not allowed to leave on a charter flight.
Maybe they can fly to Mexico and come across like everybody else.
What a great idea. Why didn't I think about that?
Right.
And by the way, no one's addressed the fact, have any of these people been tested for COVID? That is like not even a thought.
Stop it.
COVID?
We
That
only
is
test
not even a. It's,
just kindergartners
that
have
is-
to wear masks.
That is not even
Where's their
COVID-
masks?
a thought. No masks.
Look
COVID
at
was
that.
so last week.
No masks whatsoever.
Kids are sitting 6 feet apart at their desks right now in Monroe County schools, yet they're all packed onto an airplane with no masks heading to the United States.
That
makes sense.
No, right, exactly.
That makes sense, right, Superintendent? That makes
Did you
sense.
see the picture of the college football game with
Oh,
80,000
Yeah.
people, and then the kid with
I love
one
that.
kid sitting there with his mask on
I love that.
at his
Isn't that great?
desk?
Yeah, so the college stadiums are full. We're
Yeah.
going to see NFL stadiums that are full. And I don't think that you're going to
Thursday night.
I don't think everyone's vaccinated that's going to NFL games,
No,
right?
only 53% of Americans are
So
vaccinated.
riddle me this,
Batman.
because I want to know, inquiring minds.
Don't try to use logic or common sense, though.
They say that COVID cases are 300% higher this time today
Than it was last
than a
year.
year ago.
Makes sense.
How are COVID cases 300% higher now than a year ago if more than half the population is vaccinated?
Because the vaccinated people are getting COVID
And spreading it
and spreading it.
Yes.
because they're not wearing
Yes.
masks and social distancing anymore.
Correct.
Because
Because
you
we
could
were told that once you got the vaccination, you didn't have to wear a mask and social distance. We were told that if everyone got the vaccination, we would
Things
be
would
out
get
of
better.
this. Things are going to get better. We can open things back up. Weren't we told that?
Yeah, but don't you understand?
Weren't we
If-
told that? Weren't we forced?
It's only if
into getting the
everybody,
vaccine?
though. It's all 100%.
Yeah.
If 53% get vaccinated, then we get worse. That's how it works. Don't you get it?
Oh, no. No,
you
no,
don't.
no.
That doesn't make sense to you?
I don't get it at all. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
None of
how
this
COVID
shit
cases
makes sense.
None of it does.
And they know it doesn't, but it doesn't matter because they're just telling us what to do and we're doing it,
It's the craziest damn thing,
isn't it?
right? All these
It's out of control.
things that we see, the people at the border, the Afghan refugees, and by the way, all those Afghan refugees, the 500 families that are coming into Rochester, COVID tested, we don't know. Vetted properly, we don't know. None of these things, we don't know. We have no idea.
Do you think they'll walk to school or take the bus?
We don't know. we don't know.
they'll get their own private tutors
that is
paid
Probably.
for by the government.
that is a good. And by the
Probably.
way, CVS is restricting the number of over-the-counter rapid COVID tests because of an elevated demand. Because people are running in, getting the rapid COVID tests when they really. I talked to a woman last week in line at Wegmans. She had a mask on, the whole thing. She goes, every time I get a little sniffle, she says, I think I've taken like 3 COVID tests in the last week and a half. I'm like, why? Are you stupid? I mean, I didn't say that, but I'm thinking it.
You
Why
said,
are
don't
you
be stupid.
I'm like, don't be stupid. Exactly. Well,
Don't be stupid.
exactly. That's exactly what I said. So
What did she say?
she just said, well, I just want to be sure. I'm like,
They just want to be sure. Everybody
you've
wants to.
had 3
just wanna be safe.
COVID tests in the last week and a half because you had a runny nose.
Now, here's a good question, though, of course, because I asked it. So, do those results? No, really,
Don't
though.
break your arm, pat yourself on the back.
Because we hear about the positivity rates, right?
You break your arm.
The positivity rates is one of the things that the county repeatedly pumps out there to the news. So all day
Right.
long we hear on the news cycle and the WHAM cycle and so on and so forth that the positivity rate is such and such, and this is the reason why schools should be open or closed. Do all of those negative tests that people take in those settings
Nope.
become part of the statistics?
No. Because they're
No.
not done at a lab.
That's a negative
No.
test.
No.
They're not done at a lab.
But that's not.
So how is that not factored in?
Well, that's
I mean-
not information that they want you to know.
Right? I mean, isn't it?
That's not
it
relevant
obvious?
information, Chad Hummel.
Yeah, isn't it obvious that only people with symptoms that feel so sick that they're compelled to go to a lab or a doctor to be tested, of course they're more likely to be positive. So of course that's going to artificially inflate, what would otherwise be the
Right.
community-wide
Right.
transmission or positivity rate. Because all the people that are negative, they're getting tested too, but those numbers aren't reported because they're going to CVS to be tested.
The whole
Such a joke.
I know, right? And I look at this and I think 300%. Where are they getting the percentages? Where are they getting
They
the
make it up.
numbers?
Yeah, they're guessing.
the Wuhan lab documents that were Freedom of Information Act requested found that Mr. Fauci was untruthful about the research being funded by the National Institute of Health.
Untruthful, or he lied?
Shocker.
He lied. Dr. Anthony Fauci
How does this guy have a job?
is accused by critics of lying after newly released documents appear to contradict his claims that the National Institute of Health did not approve gain of function research at China's Wuhan lab. Senator Rand Paul, who's led this criticism from the very beginning, says, hey,
Rand
the
Paul's
document,
wrecked him.
the documents are right here. You guys vilify. I mean, you vilified me, but here are the documents. You can't argue with the documents that the National Institute of Health actually funded the entire research at this Chinese lab. And we gave them $3.1 million in a grant that was awarded between 2014 and 2019.
That's it? 3.1 million? That's like hammers.
To the Wuhan Institute of Virology for coronavirus research. And what happened is it got away from them. They didn't follow protocol.
This is all a bunch of bad shit anyway.
And it got away from them.
Or monkey shit.
So they say that the field work involved the highest risk of exposure to SARS and other COVs while working in caves in 2014 with high bat density overhead and breathing in the bat fecal dust.
Why didn't they just wear masks?
I don't know.
Bat fecal dust?
But even a molecular biologist at Rutgers University said the documents prove and make it clear that Dr. Fauci was lying about the fact that the National Institute of Health funded that research in the Wuhan lab. Cannot be argued against. The documents are there, and that somehow, some way, that virus got out.
Remember Bush
either
lied?
On purpose, either they weaponized it on purpose,
Exactly.
They released it on purpose, they had stupid people working there on purpose.
Grossly negligent.
Something.
Bush lied, people died, right? We heard that for how many months and years?
Right.
But these people lie with impunity, and nobody calls them out.
Yeah.
Nobody in the news media, the national news media, the local news media, except for us.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the fact that the documents, which were obtained by the Freedom of Information Act, nobody's talking about it. No, there's no headline news. There's no talking about Biden's cognitive decline. There's no playing any of those videos where he's like, they used to call it a tornado, but I don't know what they call it anymore. And no one, played the video of him checking his watch, not once, but multiple times while the caskets of the dead servicemen and women were being unloaded, coming home onto U.S. soil after being blown up in Afghanistan. No one covers this stuff. No one does. And as we sit here and say it over and over again, I don't know what it's going to take to get this country to care about this kind of stuff, because it's going to we're here today saying on the We the People Podcast Network, at some point, it's going to boil over. And someone's going to try to take advantage of the weakness of the United States of America because we are governed by the weak.
Well,
we're governed by the weak.
88 million people supposedly voted for this guy, so they support him. They think he's awesome.
Yeah, well,
they love Kamala.
They
love Nancy.
Where is Kamala Harris?
They love Nancy.
Where
and
is
Chuck.
Kamala Harris? Where is the Vice President of the United States? Has anyone seen Kamala?
She's running the show.
There she is.
She's not at the border.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Love it.
They put her in a corner.
I've come to talk with you again.
The Biden-Harris administration.
They put her in a corner.
Never once did we hear the Trump-Pence administration.
I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors that we have.
Of course.
Fantuzzo's Acupuncture, Precision Lawn and Garden, Express Sealers, and Taylor Heating and Plumbing. We hope that you guys call them for service. Go see the Kimberly and Justin at Precision Lawn and Garden in Webster. We hope that you buy things from them. We hope that you hire them to fix things, because they support the We the People Podcast Network, and we need you to support our sponsors. It is because of them that we're able to do this here today.
It's because of Taylor that I have air conditioning at my house right now.
It's because of Taylor that we have air conditioning right here.
My AC went last week at home.
It did?
Yeah. And my wife called Taylor. She didn't even call me. She called
Kimberly.
Taylor.
Guess how much it cost him to get it fixed?
I don't know.
How much did it cost you?
$600.
There you go.
Wait a second. What did you get done? Is that just the going rate? 600?
No,
Everybody gets charged 600.
Whatever happened, it blew big time.
Our coil went. The coil burnt out on the condenser. Because of the cottonweed. It was our fault. We didn't.
They just charge everybody 600.
All right. So we had talked about this yesterday, and we can't figure out why it is. I do believe that as of today, because of the bus shortage, and there were more bus drivers today that turned in their resignation. I think bus drivers for the handicapped kids, the special needs kids.
Why are they turning in the resignations though?
I mean,
what's our theory there?
Well, my theory is because that people don't want to deal with the little rat bastard kids.
Yeah, but they were in it. They were in it at this point. Why are they out now? That's a little strange.
I don't know. I think they were disrespected. I think that I don't know. I have no idea why these bus drivers
disrespect Tom all the time. He shows up every day.
There were 341 kids today in the Rochester City School District that did not get on a bus, did not have a bus to go to school. 341, or maybe it's 371. 371 kids did not have a bus to get on to go to school.
How
today.
many of those 371 kids actually made it to school?
Teacher, I have a take.
You have a take? Because I want to say, so Berkeley Breen tweeted that one of the bus drivers said the Rochester City School District made my run a double, and I worked over 40 hours a week. I complained because this is only supposed to be a part-time job. And so,
whatever.
I don't know if that's a reason, because their hours are not what they thought they were signing up for. I don't know if the tweet from Berkeley Breen is correct. Berkeley Breen is a local NBC reporter here in Rochester, New York. I'm not sure, but that leaves with the resignations that they had today. Now they have over 130 bus drivers that are no longer working for the Rochester City School District, which Rochester is like a war zone, so who can blame them? And that leaves the district with 36 unassigned routes, and will impact, of that 371 kids, 174 are kids with disabilities.
Why don't we have this problem in the suburbs?
I don't know.
Just close the damn schools.
I talked about this yesterday on the Got Freedom podcast. The question that nobody's asking, the issue that nobody seems to be identifying, to me, it's quite academic and simple. And that is this: why the hell can't the parents just take the kids to school? Why can't they find a way to school?
Because some
on their own
parents don't have access to vehicles.
Horseshit.
They have access
to iPhone 15s, don't they? You ever heard of Uber?
I think the
13. Are we only at 13? How about Uber?
Next
How about
week,
Lyft?
Apple is breaking out the 13.
The 13.
Apple 13 next week. It's a big Apple debut.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's lots of Lyft and Uber drivers out there probably looking for work.
Well, the
look, if you
point
want your
they're
kids to
gonna
go to
make is-
school, you'll
yes.
find a way to get your kids to school.
Of course.
All right. I mean,
They're
this
saying
is
that this is in the poorest of neighborhoods, that people don't have the money for Uber.
No,
They
Well,
don't-
can't we
they don't.
redesign? Can't we redesign the buses so that the poorer people get the buses, and that the wealthier neighborhoods drive their kids to school?
Well, I think that was a big bone of contention at one of the meetings that they called over the freaking weekend, because they waited until the last minute to solve this problem. I said it yesterday.
They waited till the last minute to create the problem, so then they can wait till the last minute to solve the problem.
Right.
But go on.
They should have addressed this situation and got it all taken care of with the bus drivers in July, but they didn't do it. So they wait till a couple of days before school starts and start having emergency meetings on Sunday and Monday, this past Sunday and Monday.
Well, the superintendent was on vacation.
Well, of course.
When this all became.
Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor in all this?
I think she's in jail, isn't she?
She is no, but I do
Do we know where the
believe
mayor is?
that some of the people received subpoenas that were on her campaign finance fund group, family and friends, whatever. I don't know. I think when subpoenas go out, that's bad, right?
Usually, yeah.
Is that bad? I mean,
that's
I don't.
bad. You don't want to get a subpoena.
I never want to get a subpoena. But anyway, so why are there no buses for these kids? Why are we short 100 and some bus drivers in the Rochester City School District?
Why can't parents bring their kids to school?
I don't know.
It's called remote learning.
I don't know.
That's what they want.
I think that, you can make all kinds of excuses.
Why can't we just hire one teacher for every kid and we'll send them to each of their houses for private
It's a
tutoring?
great idea.
Why not? Well, we spend
Don't be
$20,000 a year per
Don't be
student,
stupid.
right?
Oh, more than
Don't
that.
be stupid.
Well, why can't we just
Don't be
close
stupid.
the school district and send the one teacher to each kid's house?
I think it's 20. It's at least 25,000.
Yeah, somebody can make 25,000 tutoring a kid, right?
So they're dealing with RTS. They think RTS is going to be the great savior. And I think I'm not exactly sure. That might have been also a little problem with some of the bus drivers that said, okay, so you're going to disrespect us. You're going to make us work more hours than what we actually signed up for. And now you're saying, screw you. You're going to go to RTS. But RTS is saying, wait a minute. Whoa. You can't put little, kids on these buses. You can't put elementary school kids on RTS buses. Are you going to trust that your 6 or 7-year-old is going to get on an RTS bus, the transit system for the city of Rochester?
Where's the money going in the meantime that's not being used to run these buses? Obviously, that money was budgeted for.
I don't know.
So the money's in the bank.
I have no idea.
Are they going to give it back to the taxpayers?
I have no idea.
It's going to a nonprofit organization.
Yes,
Chad.
you do. You do have an idea.
Chad.
No, just the answer is
Chad.
no.
Nobody ever gets any money back.
What do they do with it then?
I don't know.
Where does the money go?
They have parties.
Yeah. Where did the $30 million go?
They misappropriate funds.
Remember 2 years ago, $30 million was just missing?
Yes.
Where did that money go?
I do remember that.
They went and bought new buses.
But here's what you don't
but
understand.
They don't have bus drivers.
30 million went missing, but they made it look like the books were good, right?
Yeah.
Right? That they weren't in the red. They made it look like everything had equaled out and everything had not.
It's called cooking the books.
Equaled out. I'm not smart enough to cook a book, but
and nothing happened.
Right, exactly.
Nothing ever happens.
So now we have 2,000
They steal the money and nothing ever happens.
students at schools who must find another way to get to class tomorrow
They should walk.
because more bus drivers have quit today. Today, you should walk.
No, really.
Yeah, and we made it clear yesterday that there were, some schools within the district that said, hey, if you live within a mile and a half of the school district, you have to walk. But those kids, one of the schools is school number 17, which is right at Campbell and Orchard. Do you know where that is?
It's a nice neighborhood.
It's a very nice neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood if you're a thug.
It's right by Grape Street and Orange Street. And
It is. And that is
the fruit streets, the number streets, the letter streets, and the streets named after states and presidents. Those are the worst ones. Stay away from those streets. No, true story. I had a paralegal.
And Titus Avenue.
I had a real estate paralegal.
And 530 Titus Avenue.
Titus Road.
Exactly.
Titus Road.
Whatever.
I had a real estate paralegal that worked.
See, Jenny, what you started?
All right, never
Go
mind.
ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. I had a real estate paralegal that worked for me once, and she said that when she got her driver's license, when she was 16, 17 years old, her father explained to her, here's the safety lesson. If you ever find yourself on a street that's named after a U.S. president, it's named after a state, it's named after a letter, a number, a fruit,
a bird.
What am I missing?
A bird.
A bird. Yeah, there's a whole section.
Yeah, if you find yourself on one of those streets, numbers, letters, presidents, states, or fruits, get out of there in a hurry.
Wow.
Get out of there
It's
in
a
a
lot
hurry.
of streets.
Yeah, if you're on Orange Street, Jefferson Avenue,
Right,
Madison,
right.
If you're on one of those streets, First Street, Second Street,
They're
Third
bad.
Street, get out. Get
They're
out.
bad.
Get out in a hurry.
I do believe
I'm
that
gonna
you
pass
guys
it on to my kids.
You guys probably saw that Robert F. Kennedy's assassin, Sirhan Sirhan, is eligible for parole. And there's some family members in the Kennedy clan that are against Sirhan Sirhan being paroled.
Are the Kennedys up for parole yet?
And some family members say that he's done 53 years of a life sentence, and isn't that long enough?
Yeah, that's long enough.
Doesn't life mean life?
No.
When you shoot,
he's got 9 lives.
Robert F. Kennedy was the attorney general for his brother while John F. Kennedy was in office, correct?
Wasn't he a Democrat, though?
He was a Democrat. So the wife, Ethel Kennedy, of the wife of the late Robert F. Kennedy, says that the assassin Sirhan should not be released from prison, and now it's a big family divide. Her statement came a week after former Congressman Joe P. Kennedy II, the oldest son of Ethel, said that Sirhan has a possibility of parole at 77 years old.
I thought the Democrats believed in bail reform.
I think that there are some offspring of the Kennedy clan that believe that they support his release. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Douglas Kennedy.
Kimberlina, there's
Kennedy
inside
Jr.
information on the text line. I can't read it though.
Why can't you read it?
Because I can't on
He's
my
blind.
glasses.
I'm a teacher in the Rochester City School District. Tell me how a year and a half ago they let 20 PE teachers go, and today they can't get some of those positions filled.
Well, because they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing when they do these things.
So I bring up, Robert F. Kennedy's assassin, Sirhan, because prison means nothing. Going to prison for life doesn't mean life anymore, right?
No,
Even
never
if
has.
you kill,
Well, it was 53 years.
even if you kill a member of a prominent political family, it means 53 years. He should do life. He's 77. He should stay in prison till he dies.
He's not going to get out.
He shot and killed Bobby Kennedy, right? He was a great hope, Bobby Kennedy, right? I mean, that was when Democrats were different. I came from
Democrats
a big
were cool back then.
Democratic family.
Oh boy.
My
Here
family
we
were
go.
huge Kennedy supporters.
Yeah, the good old boys, the
Good.
Democrats.
Well, my
the
dad was a
Democrats have
member-
always
Well,
been the
Joe Biden
slaveholders.
knew them all, Kimberly.
This fits right into my narrative.
Right. So it goes, and the
Democrats have never changed.
the reason I'm talking about this is because Taekwon Rivera here in the city, closer to home, not really related. Do you know who Taekwon Rivera is?
Oh, yeah.
Right? He was 14 years old when he shot Anthony DePonzio in the back of the head on Dayton Street in 2009. Since 2009, Taekwon Rivera, even after doing a couple of years as a juvenile offender in prison, I think he only did 6 years?
A few, yeah.
He did a few years.
He's been up several times.
He's been in nothing but trouble since he's been out. He was convicted of shooting.
Well, that's right. He got out and got reconvicted of a couple things.
Well, so he was released on parole in 2016.
Yes, that's right.
He was arrested 10 months after that for parole violation. He was released in February of 2017. Last year, he was arrested after allegedly selling guns to undercover investigators and drugs. He was released without bail under New York's revised reform laws. And then he proceeded in June of last year. He hit a motorcyclist on Upper Falls Boulevard at Elmira Street, driving an SUV that was unlicensed, unregistered. Taekwon Rivera, also no driver's license, hit and kills this guy that runs into the side of his SUV. Nothing happens. And today, he pled guilty to the drug charges and will spend 15 years in prison. But here's what I'm saying. And I think he's supposed to pay $867,000 in restitution, which we'll never see any of that money, right? You're never going to see
Really?
any money from Taekwon Rivera. And by the way,
maybe he'll win the lottery.
15 years means 1 year, right? He'll be out in a year and a half. Who wants to bet right now?
No, he's got to do 2/3, I think, under the law,
Okay.
the old law.
You know what the moral of that story is?
He was supposed to do 10 years for shooting and severely injuring a police officer, and he didn't do the 10 years. He did the 7, was released on parole, 10 months later violated that parole, and has not been
Yeah, but honestly,
a good, upstanding
No.
citizen trying to make his life better.
he did the 7 out of 10. That was 2/3 essentially. You have to do 2/3, unless they get him on some sort of enhanced sentencing because of his prior record.
I can tell you for a fact that he has been a nightmare for Greece police in Greece, because I do believe he was living with a girlfriend or some kind of woman that he was slapping around. There were more calls for domestic issues with Taekwon Rivera than anyone else that we can name at this point that has a name in the public.
Shocker.
Well, if he would have just followed the model of look twice, save a life, there wouldn't have been an issue.
He shouldn't have been driving in the first place. But
They
by the
always
way,
have those motorcycle signs.
drug charges,
Look twice, save a life.
no worries.
That was poorly played.
But
I get where you're going with it.
I just say why even arrest people anymore?
Well, no, that's what we're
Because
doing.
That is true.
why even go to the trouble of arresting anyone?
Well,
He's a multiple offender. Okay,
the police
so-
do think like that right now.
You-
A lot of
I don't-
cops out there on the beat. That's what they're contemplating themselves
I don't blame them.
when they don't answer calls, and they hope somebody else answers the call
Uh,
when the call comes over the wire. And they're sitting in a parking lot, and they look at each other if there's partners in a car, and they look at each other and they say, "Well, we'll wait till the younger guy answers the call."
what's the point, right?
The aggressive younger rookie, he'll grab that call. We're not going to bother.
Yeah,
this.
what's the point?
We're not going to be stuck on overtime here because it's the end of our shift.
I guarantee he won't do 15 years.
I agree. He won't.
He's not. I bet he's out in 2. And I know what you say.
I do believe he has to do 10. I don't. I mean, I'm kind of getting out way ahead of myself here. I don't know the facts and circumstances of his sentencing, but as a general matter, you do have to do at least 2/3 of
Prison
any
means
sentence.
nothing. If a guy like Sirhan, who shot and killed Robert F. Kennedy, can get out, even though he's was
Kennedys
sentenced to a
leave-
life in prison.
The Kennedys leave women at the bottom of rivers, though. I mean, do we really care
Some
about the Kennedys?
Some Kennedys.
What was that?
That was Ron Kennedy.
Chappaquiddick Lake or
Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick.
It's a whole movie.
Something.
You
Yeah, I
should
know. I
watch
saw
it.
that movie. That's a great movie.
It's a whole movie.
I couldn't pronounce
You
the
talk
movie
about
then, and I
history.
can't pronounce it now. Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
The Kennedys are
The
Kennedys.
the Kennedys are the Kennedys.
They're a bunch of blue bloods.
Exactly. Yes, but seriously, I look at these two cases. I'm like, very similar. You go to prison. Prison isn't what it was. You're not in there rotting away for forever anymore.
So what is it now? Club Med?
You should bring back the firing squad. Gallows.
Exactly.
The gallows and the firing squads.
It is
Especially if you don't wear your mask at a baseball game.
it is Beer Lovers Day.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
Beer Lovers
Did you
Day?
know that?
As Tom pounds down the whiskeys over there.
Damn it.
It is Beer Lovers Day.
I missed that one.
What is the trashiest beer you drink on a regular basis?
Jenny Cream Ale.
Is that a trashy beer?
No, it's
Like-
the best beer.
The best beer.
I wanted to see if Austin was still awake over there. Actually,
He
Jenny
is.
Cream Ale is surprisingly a good beer. That gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
It's local.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but it's a good beer, actually.
Are you natty?
The trashy, I was going to say natty.
Natties,
Ice,
yeah.
natural light.
I don't
It's
know.
kinda trashy.
The answer is whatever's in my hand.
I used to drink hams in college with
Hams.
a guy I used to go out with.
Peels.
I mean, another
He
guy.
always drank hams. Oh, yeah, there were a lot.
Another guy.
Oh, there's a list. There's a whole Schlitz. My dad drank Schlitz.
John says Bush. There you go. That's a good one.
Is that a trashy beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's named after a president. It has to be.
Keystone, I think, is a trashy beer. Natty is a trashy. That's in it's in a song now.
What's very tasty, Jason? The Natty Light?
A little natty.
A little Natty Ice Pyramid. We got to pull that out, don't we?
Oh.
My buddy Jason might have some pictures for us.
September 11th is Saturday.
Yes.
September 11th is Saturday. It's
20 years.
20-year anniversary of the terrorist attacks on the Pentagon and New York City. And we know that some things majorly changed. And I asked you this yesterday. Well, one, airport flying is no longer the way it used to be prior to September 11th, right? Flying and the financial district is a third of that is residential now. Did you know that?
I don't go to that
There-
cesspool in New York City.
You've never
I've been there 3
have you
times in
have
my
you been
entire
down
life.
to see the big
I was actually at Ground Zero
ground zero? Yeah.
several months after 9/11. I was in my 3rd year of law school, I was in my 3rd year of law school, and I traveled to New Jersey to Seton Hall College for a competition in law school. So we had an occasion. We had a few hours.
Was
of
this
free
a
time.
beer drinking competition, Chad?
It was not. It was actually legal related. I was on the moot court team, which is legal argument,
Yeah.
mock trial type of stuff. So myself and the 2 other competitors that I was traveling with from Dayton, we had a few hours of free time. So we wandered over to Ground Zero.
Oh yeah.
And that was the real deal. I mean,
Yeah.
you could just
You
stand
can
there.
feel it.
Yes.
Right.
All you could do was stand there.
I know.
And the hair on the back of your neck.
It does.
And you just stood there and looked around.
Yeah.
And you said, what happened here?
Yeah.
And you had seen it on TV, right? Just like everyone else had. And you watched all the replayed images.
It really doesn't play into it until you actually go down
Yeah,
to
and
the memorial, get a feel of,
and that was when, remember, they had all the fencing up. And they had all and then people were putting the pictures up of their loved ones. They were still holding out hope. So
That-
all the
that-
pictures and the kids, the sons and the daughters and the wives, they had written the personal messages. They had written the letters, and they had stuck them to the fence. So you're walking hundreds of yards of chain link fence,
Mhm.
and on the other side of this chain link fence is all the rubble
Just
and the
yeah.
smolder, and on the fence are the handwritten notes. Daddy, I miss you. Where are you? Daddy, please
Yeah.
call us when you're safe. And you're reading this stuff, and you're just sick. You're
So
sick to your stomach.
where were you on September 11th?
On
20
September-
years. 20
yeah.
years ago.
I
I can tell you where I was. I was on the air
Really.
doing the
Okay.
mornings at
So you were probably watching it and reporting on it real time.
real time. I
Yeah.
remember because the TV was, right on the side of, where the studio was. And so we were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it happened. I mean, we had just been in town 2 months. Really. We were hired, came in 2 months later.
So
September
you were new to
11th.
Rochester at the time.
New to Rochester. Yep. 20 years.
So that's funny. You were here, new to Rochester. I was away for the first time in my life because I went to college at home at St. John Fisher, and I stayed at home. So I'm away at law school. I'm in the very beginning of my third year of law school. So I'm in Dayton, Ohio. And I wake up that morning and I got just a little, literally like a 13-inch Philco TV at the time. This was in 2001, right?
Yeah.
But I got this little TV in my room. That's all I could afford at the time. And I was living with a buddy, a college roommate of mine in law school. And I turned the TV on and I'm watching one of the morning national programs, Good Morning America, or
Whatever
something,
it was,
whatever the
yeah.
heck was on. And when I turned the TV on, the one tower had already been hit. So they're reporting the towers in the background. They're reporting on the tower that
Not really understanding what was going
they
on
didn't
yet.
know what had happened.
Not
yet.
really understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know what had happened.
And the Pentagon hadn't been hit yet.
Yeah, we were, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, geez, a plane flew into,
Right.
a small plane or whatever. And then as I'm watching live, the second plane flies into the second tower.
Exactly.
And I just remember, I'll never forget it vividly. I yelled up my buddy Art that I lived with. He was up on the second floor. My bedroom was on the first floor. His bedroom was on. I screamed up to him literally as I see the plane hit. And I said, Art, we're under attack. I just knew right away. The second plane hits the building and he yells down, what the hell are you talking about? Right. He's like, we had gone out that night, the night before. And
Art, grab your musket.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably because he's still drunk down there or something.
Yeah.
And he comes running downstairs. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And literally the two of us
You watched it.
sat on the edge of my bed for the next 4 or 5 hours, just watching the entire day unfold. It was surreal.
Similar story.
Yeah.
Lori and I watched it. We were at home, and because I don't work before 9, so or
9 p.m. 9 p.m. that is.
Forever.
So we were
Never
at
works.
home and we were watching the news and we saw it. So
Someone says they were listening to us. And
Wow.
again, we'd
Nice.
only been on the air 2 months, my partner
thank you.
and I. So
Thank you for the loyalty.
Kathy says, I was listening to you, Kimberly, and then turned the TV on. Yeah, I mean, I remember that morning, and I wish I could get audio. And I know that the radio station has it, the audio from that day, from that morning, that when we were broadcasting, doing the show. I wish I could have that audio just to hear what we were talking about. I'll never be able to.
We could probably send a subpoena.
You're a lawyer. How can I get that audio?
Well, we'll bring a lawsuit
I mean,
against the radio station.
That's a great. Oh, that's a great.
For your firing, and then we'll do a subpoena.
Different
We'll get it.
radios. Which firing?
Oh.
So this.
Oh wait, that's jeez.
So yeah.
All right, never
Two
mind.
different radio stations. No
Never
worries.
mind.
No worries. But yeah, I mean, I just, it's times like that. You're like, oh my God, I wish I had that audio. I wish I could go back and get that from that moment in time. There's been plenty of times where I wish I had audio, and I never was smart enough to say, you know what, I've got to make a copy of that and
Right.
take it home.
So let me
that
tell
would have
you,
been the smart thing to do.
I know we're almost out of time here, but let me just tell you another quick snippet from that day. So Dayton, Ohio, it is about, 10 miles, if that, south of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base,
Mhm.
which is where the National Air Force Museum is. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is one of the largest Air Force bases, active Air Force bases in the country. So if you recall that day, of course, President Bush was down in Florida,
Right.
They didn't know
Reading
what to do
to
with
kids,
him. Yeah,
right?
They didn't know what to do with him. They began to fly him essentially anonymously around the country at that point. They flew him from Air Force Base to Air Force Base because they figured if we just take some random track,
They won't know where
right?
he is.
He wanted to go back to DC.
Yeah.
You've seen the documentaries
Mhm.
where he was arguing with his chiefs of staff Take me back to DC.
Well,
I
the
want to see
Pentagon
my
had been
wife,
attacked. Yeah,
and I want to speak to the American people from the Oval Office. And they said, no, you're not going anywhere, President. You're going to go where we take you, and you're not even going to know where you're going because nobody but
kind of
us.
scary, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
What
So-
would have Trump said to that if they told Trump that?
Yeah, he would.
No,
He'd have gotten out of the plane and got his own plane.
He would have parachuted out.
Exactly.
So what happened, long story longer, is apparently later that day, around 4 p.m., one of the flight patterns that they took, because they were trying to fly from secure location to secure
Right.
location, and they tried to make a loop around the country to get them back to the White House eventually. They flew over the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, accompanied by 2 F-16s. So at one point, he literally, Air Force One, flew right over the top of downtown Dayton after it passed over Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. There was reports on local Fox News channel. It was Channel 7, and they were reporting at the time that another plane had gone down. You remember the reporting that day was so scattered.
It was so scattered.
Nobody knew
So
what
they had
was
the
going
Pentagon,
on.
what's going on at the Pentagon?
Are they
Then
grounding
there
planes?
was the Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
in the field.
Are there
and
other planes up in the air?
It was chaos.
So
And we were on the air, I think, until 3 or 4 o'clock that afternoon. We didn't stop. The morning show we stayed on the air all that afternoon.
all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as they're reporting that another plane was down, Air Force One flies right over the top of Dayton, Ohio, and the F-16s, one or both of the F-16s breaks the sound barrier. And it sounds like, I don't know if
Boom.
you've ever heard
Yeah.
that noise.
Mm-hmm.
We thought a plane crashed.
Wow.
We thought that it was, what was going on that day was brought to Dayton.
Right.
We run literally, myself and Art, who I told you about before, we
Right.
run out into the street, we look up, we see Air Force One fly right overhead.
How weird is that?
I saw on 9/11 Air Force One with my own eyes fly right overhead, accompanied by
crazy.
the 2 F-16s. It was surreal. We didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on at the time. We saw the documentaries later, and then I was able to piece together what had happened. That they were tracking over at Wright-Pat Air
Of
Force
course.
Base to get back home. So it was absolutely unreal.
Can you say documentary?
Documentary.
No.
Documentary.
Not documentary. You have the syllable. You have the
Wait a second.
you have the
This is the
emphasis on the
person-
wrong syllable.
Wait, what is the one word? What is the one word she says? That
Lawyer.
Lawyer.
Oh, I
Lawyer.
thought that was the other word.
What, the F word?
Exactly.
All right, on that
All right.
note.
We so
Lawyer?
September 11th, the
Lawyer,
20th
lawyer.
anniversary of September 11th is Saturday. So we hope you all take a moment and kind of rejoice in this great nation
100%.
and be very afraid of the man that's running it or whomever is running it behind
Oh shit.
behind the emerald, curtain. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on.
That is what's happening.
I mean, you want my conspiracy theory?
Yes.
Could you? I mean, seriously.
Yes.
This is happening. It's not a coincidence that what's happening right now, what just happened in Kabul, under the direction of whatever puppet masters are running the show right now,
Right.
in DC, in the White House, because we know it's not Biden. The guy, we just watched him slur his words
we did.
and wipe the drool off of his mouth as he
Mhm.
talked about wetlands in the desert.
And
Okay.
they used to call it tornadoes.
That man is not running the country, and there's a reason why we're about to so-called celebrate or commemorate 9/11, the 20th anniversary of a terrorist attack that led us to Afghanistan. There's a reason why this just happened.
Of course.
Somebody, the people that were in control of attacking our country on September 11th, 2001, their fingerprints are all over this right now.
100%.
And their hands might literally and figuratively be on Biden at this point.
so you're saying there's a giant cabal involved.
You think?
All
Remember
right.
the Clinton Foundation?
I'll buy it. What the
All right.
hell?
All right. Very good. So are we out of time?
I think we're out of conspiracy theories
Are we out
anyway.
of conspiracy theories? All right. I wanted to show a video, but I don't think we have time for it. And I wanted
Of course
to.
we do.
Do we have time for it?
Why
Happy
not?
birthday,
Okay.
Sophia. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to baby Sophia. Can we put up baby Sophia's picture again? Okay.
Happy
So,
birthday,
I
sweetheart.
wanna-
Love you.
Okay.
Can't wait to meet you.
I want to show you what happened in Portland over the weekend. Portland is a cesspool of nothing but lawlessness and Antifa, right?
Lawlessness.
This is what happens when a mayor and a governor and have
Our Democrats.
have completely wanted to take away the power from the police
Democrats have been controlling it for
to control a city. So here is what's happening. It's not only happening in Portland, it's happening in San Francisco.
It's happening in Rochester.
It's happening in Rochester. And I want to read you, but can we show you what happened in Portland? Watch this. This is at a Lowe's.
Goodbye.
Unreal.
Bye-bye.
Funny and disturbing at the same time.
Carts full of stuff.
They're entitled to that.
Look at that.
They're entitled to that stuff.
So that was in Portland. Look at them. Nobody's stopping them. They're
Honest
just
to God,
loading their car full of crap.
What's the difference if they use an EBT card to take all that stuff out of the store? They're getting it on your dime anyway.
So someone's sitting there calling him garbage. They're filming him, calling him garbage.
I'm an electrician, bro. Yeah. Look at that. Where's the lights in the peg?
None. Oh, right there.
A temporary plate.
They probably stole it.
Shocker.
They probably stole
They
it.
printed it on their printer before they got in the car.
You guys are so negative. You guys are so glass half empty, and you're so cynical.
Yeah.
I just watched that video, and you know what I saw?
What did you see?
I saw that they were driving a Subaru. They were green energy.
I don't. Oh,
yeah.
That's green. That's a
saving
Subaru.
the planet.
Saving the.
Yes.
That's right. Climate change.
Yes.
Doing something good for the
Yes.
planet. Mother
So-
Nature. Mother Nature's angry. You
That-
heard Ms.
Yes.
Pelosi at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah, that was a Subaru.
Kimberly's Revolution. By the way, we're on YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts. Give us a like. From Sandy, and I asked Sandy, did you get any pictures? She had posted something on Facebook. She says, if there's anything more, if there's anything I hate more than a liar, it's a thief. I was at the at-home store on West Ridge Road. I saw a manager walking quickly behind a woman pushing a loaded cart with her 3-year-old in the seat, yelling that you didn't pay for any of that stuff. As the woman proceeded to walk out of the door of the at-home store to her car. Sandy then goes on to say, I was pissed. So I went out there and confronted the lady and told her to take the kid out of the cart and I'd take the stuff that she'd stolen back inside the store. She yelled, who the fuck do you think you are? That's what the lady said to my friend Sandy. I said, who cares? Give me the cart. You take your baby. She pushed me with her elbow, said some more choice words to me. I told her she was a scumbag for stealing with her kid in the cart. What a great teacher she is, as she continues to put the stuff in her car. So I started taking stuff out of her cart, 2 mops and a bunch of stacked metal bins out of the cart, and told her that she was a disgusting loser scumbag. And I took them back into the store. The manager, who was standing at the doors of the at-home store watching the whole thing, said, thank you, that when this happens, no one does anything to help, and they can't stop her from leaving the store legally. They are not allowed as employees of the at-home store, or as you just saw, the Lowe's store, or any store for that matter. Employees are not allowed to stop the thieves.
Back in the day, we used to tackle them right into the clothes racks.
Well, that must have been more than 5 or 6 years ago when I worked at Walmart, because I was told, not allowed to stop anybody.
Not allowed to stop anyone.
Nope. And I saw people walk out with whole carts. My favorite was one guy walked out with a whole cart of fish, not the poles, just the what's the reel, the fishing reels.
Oh, the
I don't
fishing
know.
reels?
The lines. Those are expensive.
Oh yeah, I guess so, because he took a whole
took 'em
cart.
all.
So all I have to say to Sandy is, why no pictures? Why no pictures? Like you always have to get. Why not get video of the thief?
Look, how many
with her 3-year-old? I mean, certainly the Grease police could have done something with that video, right? If they had it.
She's trying to get all the goods back. You want her to film it while she's
apprehending
thieves?
Can I say something?
She's not a trained police officer with body camera worn footage.
She started taking shit out of the cart and
That's
taking
awesome.
it. I thought that was
That is awesome.
You don't know what they have on them. They could have
Right.
had a gun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Sandy, you don't know what she had in her purse. She could have had a gun in her purse. I mean, but you know what? Credit to Sandy Silhouette.
Who is Sandy?
Sandy.
Is this a friend of yours?
She is a huge Patriot fan. patriot, as in We the People Podcast Network.
She's a
fan.
minute woman.
She's a minute. Yes, she's a patriot.
She's one of our minute women.
She's an American. She hates liars and
we're all
thieves.
minute men, Chad.
So I will just say our big salute to Sandy for trying to stop a thief get out of the at-home store. I got to think, she's taking candles. She's taking mops. What the hell is going on?
I need a candle.
Well, there is a bunch of crap in that store anyways.
So they have all their Halloween stuff.
It's all garbage. It ends up in your house and you never can get rid of it. All those knickknacks.
Don't tell my husband. I like to shop there.
It's all a bunch
I like
of
to
garbage.
shop there. All right.
You just did.
Congratulations on the baby, Grandpa.
Happy birthday, Sophia. Love you.
Grandpa Morgan.
Grandpa Morgan. So again, we thank our sponsors, Fantuzzo's Acupuncture, Taylor Heating and Plumbing, also Express Sealers and Precision Lawn and Garden. We thank Revere Realty, of course, for providing us the space for the We the People Podcast Network. If you need
Come buy a house.
If you need to sell your home, I can help you. Anyone can help you here. Patty Bardine can help you. Tom can help you. Chad can't help you.
No, I can't help you.
He can just write up all the legal, mumbo
Nonsense.
jumbo that goes along with it. But yeah, so Revere Realty, you can email us or you can give us a call if you're searching for a house. I have a new build that's a ranch home. If you're in the market,
Where is it? Hilton?
it's a town of Greece, but Hilton School District.
Gotcha.
So right now it's framed. It's got a roof on it. You still have time to pick all your colors.
You still have time to go to the home store and get all the things you
Yeah.
need.
You can steal it. Right. Exactly.
Go
All
get
right.
a bunch of knickknacks.
That's going to do it for us.
God bless our heroes. Be kind to others.
Rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor.